Hey, what's going on, fight fans? This is Sean with Boxing and Basketball, here with my co hosts Alejandro, Randy, and of course, we have a special guest in the building, Shane Mosley Jr., who's 18 wins, 4 losses, 10 knockouts, and right now you're sitting at 32 years old, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So, Shane, we're going to start off. First of all, we want to thank you for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. And man, so I want to dig around. We're going to dig around a little bit into like your childhood, growing up, high
Mhm.
school, after high school, get boxing, pro, and all that. So let's start off by you were born in Pomona, California. Like, what was that like?
Um, I mean, it was home for me. Pomona, California. It's like it's my home, man. So I grew up around that area, and I love like Southern California. It's where I'm from, so it's a big part of my life, and I still have my family that lives there. My grandfather still lives there. A lot of my family members still live in Pomona, so I go there every now and again.
Okay. So Alejandro, you're from out of San Diego. I haven't been to Cali. I've been to Cali. I passed through. Like, is San Diego and Pomona? Are y'all far from each other?
About
Yes.
like 3 hours, maybe 4 hours.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
mean,
too
depending
bad.
on where you're going, but yeah, it's about 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
I would say, like
Just
for
depending on traffic. That's it.
right, of course.
I so Pomona is that considered like
It's the
an
last
average
city.
size city, or is it a big city, or
So it's considered a suburb, but it's the last city in Los Angeles County going
oh
east. Yeah, so like if you're going towards like Riverside and things like that, um, on the freeway, like on the main freeway, which is the 10, which will take you like to like Los Angeles and stuff like that. Uh, you will head like you will like really drive past, uh, drive through Pomona. So yeah,
okay,
it's the last city going towards like Ontario or Riverside, things like that.
got you. All right, so Shane, so as a young kid growing up, and of course your father being a boxer, like growing up, was there any other sports that you played as a kid that you were probably like really good at? Because you didn't really start boxing until about 14 or 15, right?
Yeah, I didn't start training like with the intention of like being an amateur boxer or anything like that. And so I was around like 15, 16. And then I didn't have my first amateur fight until I was 17 years old.
Right. So, but as a kid, like growing up, like, did you try like football, basketball, soccer? Did you like try any sports at all besides boxing?
Yeah. So I did like a little bit of basketball. Like in high school, like I did track and wrestling. Uh,
Okay.
but other than that, like I didn't really do much of any sports really. Like other than those, like um, and I can't really say that I took those very seriously. Like honestly, I think I just did it to get out and like be with like friends and like hanging out with people. Um,
All right. So Shane, so if you were playing basketball growing up, were you picked for your offensive shot or were you picked for defense? Were you better defender or better offense in basketball?
I think probably neither. I was just like I would give effort. You know what I mean? I would just
Okay.
yeah, just like be really really busy and like moving because like you know what I mean. Like I didn't really yeah, I didn't really take it seriously. Like I said,
Yeah.
I just did it just to like get out, the house and
Shane,
like just
yeah, Shane, you did the same thing we all did growing up. If all our friends say, "Man, let's go out the field and throw the football around," we all did it. Like, man, let's
exactly
go to the park and let's shoot the
right.
basketball. Now, wrestling in high school, I knew a couple wrestlers, and it's ironic because that's the only two sports I know where you gotta weight drain and lose weight for wrestling, right?
Yeah, yep.
Okay, so you used to draining weight and training and with the sauna suits and stuff. Then,
Well, yeah, no, I never did the whole sauna suits. I don't really believe in it, and even though
oh,
like
that's
I,
good.
even though that was like a cultural thing, like I always saw my dad cutting weight and stuff like that, so I knew like not to like cut weight like that. And
Yeah,
really, like that whole thing is kind of a lifestyle, really. Like,
it is.
I think if you are maintaining weight and maintaining certain things, of course, like, certain people want to have like, like the muscle mass or build the muscle mass in order, and then like cut it down. And, there's a kind of a science to that. But realistically speaking, for me, like having that boxing knowledge and boxing background, I would kind of always believed in just like staying close to the weight. So
That's good.
Yeah, I didn't do the whole like cuts or big cuts.
That's good. All right, Alejandro, I ain't gonna hog up all the questions. Go ahead.
So, when you decided to go into boxing, how did your dad feel about it?
The conversation went, like basically, hey, I'm gonna, I want to box. I really like this, and I want to take it serious. And he basically said, if you're gonna do it to the best of your ability, because you can die.
Yeah.
So it was, that was basically the conversation. So like, just like do it to the best of your ability. I support you and whatever it is that you want to do with it, and we'll move from there.
And growing up, like in high school, when your dad was on top of the world, winning belts and all that, how was that for you? Like being in school and everybody knowing that your dad just won a huge fight. How did it? What kind of moments did you live when all that was happening?
I mean, I guess it was interesting, I guess, to say the least. I mean, I don't really have much to compare it to, but like there was a lot of people around, and things like that. Just kind of for any like event, right? Like you'd have people around. So I don't know. Like I think it was just kind of, I always kind of knew my dad to be like known, like even since like my dad had been boxing, like and been a top fighter, like even as an amateur, like when I was like a baby, I was like literally being strolled up to a boxing ring, like
wow.
I was like like 3 years old, like, or like even like younger than that probably. So like I could always remember like there were like people like always being around, people like loving my dad. Like I've been going to fights since I could remember, like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like since like, so like I don't really know like what it is. It was just kind of like, this is what my dad does. And there's always kind of a lot of people around when he's fighting, and a lot of people like love what he does, so I just like learned to kind of love what he does, and just where it was along for the ride, and being a part of that support system.
Okay, and if you could pick one fight, which one was your favorite fight from your dad?
Well, the most meaningful would be Oscar de la Hoya. I guess the one that I love the most was Antonio Margarito.
Oh yeah,
that was
and there was a lot of other like huge fights, but that one really stuck out, I think, for the importance of kind of what it revealed, and then how he handled himself throughout. He had a lot of things going on, so it just showed like throughout all of the chaos, he was able to kind of harness that, and that was probably one of his like last really great performances. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he had some wins like after that, but like great performances where it was like, wow, like that was kind of one of those like last great ones. And one of my favorite moments of that fight was after he knocks him out, he like bows to the crowd, and I thought that was like such a beautiful like thing to do. Like, you're welcome.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It was such a like a boss thing to do.
Right.
All
right. What you got, Randy?
So I know that you had 50 amateur fights, right?
Yes, sir.
Do you remember your first fight?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
it was in I believe in Inglewood, California.
Inglewood, the hood. Okay.
Yeah, I believe it was in Inglewood, California. One of my grandfather's friends was putting on a show, like a high school show, whatever like that, and he's kind of like well known and like
that whole area.
Yeah, that whole area. And he was known for like putting on like little like amateur shows and stuff like that. And a lot of celebrities would come down and stuff. And yeah, they put me on, and I can't remember the guy's name right now. I like if I saw him, I'd know exactly who he was, but I can't remember his name for whatever reason. But it was a tough fight. Everybody thought I lost. Everybody was like, oh, like he was also from that area as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like he went to that high school. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was like oh, he won, all his family and everybody was there. They're like, oh, it was a robbery. But it is what it is. You know what I mean? Like I can't even recall what the fight looked like, but
was there little butterflies, like walking to the ring for your first fight like that, or?
Of course, of course. I mean, there's butterflies always. Like when I go to a fight, there's butterflies always.
Yeah.
Like like the butterflies never go away. Just like hard work, right? Like hard work doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It just means that it's not going to be hard. It just means that it gets like more manageable, right? And so like that's the same thing with like nerves and stuff like that. The more like you do it, the more kind of manageable it gets, and you understand kind of the process and learn to more appreciate it rather than to be afraid of it. So like I've learned to really embrace the nerves and really like be like almost like thank them, like thank God, like I have them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I've actually gone into situations where I didn't have it, and I was like, and I didn't have like the best performances, and I was like, I need those nerves. So I get nervous if I don't have the nerves.
Right. Because you know what, Shane, I was shocked. I don't know what interview it was not too long ago. It had to been in the last couple of years where Mike Tyson was on somewhere, and he talked about how scared he was every time he stepped in the ring. And I'm like, man, Mike, we looked at you as the most feared man in the world, and you're telling us that you were scared in the ring. Yeah.
But that's what makes him great. Like people think that you need like no fear, or everything needs to be perfect in order for something to great to happen, or like all the stars need to line up. Like that's nonsense. That, like, I mean, honestly, that's the false narrative of like movies and all these things that like we get of like, it had to be this way in order for it to be. And it's like, that's not real life. Like real life is that it goes through hard times, and not everything's perfect, and you got to grind through it all. And even the great results, like sometimes bad stuff happens even though you get the great result. So with that being said, like I've always kind of known that like that was one thing that was important to have, is those nerves, and because at the end of the day, it's just energy, right?
Sure.
And you got to be able to focus that energy and put it towards what you want, or that goal, right? And I actually remember before I went on the Contender show, I remember my dad told me, we had a conversation like at this like coffee shop near a place I used to live in Santa Monica. And he was like, Shane, like no situation is good or bad. It's what you do with that situation. So like don't ever look at your situation as good or bad, especially when it comes to competition, and especially when it comes to goals. Like if you're setting goals, like no situation, no matter what happens, your car could be breaking down, the house could be breaking down, whatever the case is. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? It doesn't matter. Right. All that stuff doesn't matter, because you have to figure it out. If that's what you want, if that's what you want to make happen, you need to do that. And that's when it comes down to goals and stuff like that. That's really where that type of mindset needs to be had. And honestly, in most things, right? Like, I was having a conversation earlier today, one of my buddies was talking about, like how, it's hard being, a black man and things like that in his field. And it's like, like I understand that, and I can understand that sentiment, but realistically speaking, you could be the first black guy of
Yeah.
this, right? So like, why are
Right.
you looking at it like in a perspective of like, oh, well, there's not that many of this, or there's, you know,
Yeah.
it's, I'm limited because of this. It's like, it
Right.
really, like, realistically speaking, it shouldn't really matter if the goal is to do this, because you can then be
Right.
first. You can
That's
be
right.
the few. You can be one
That's
of those.
right. Yeah.
Right. So like,
Yeah.
if you frame that mindset different, you can
Right.
then go and be like, whoa, like I can be that guy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That opportunity is free for me. They
Right.
made it possible for me. So thank
That's
God
right.
this is the way it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you can take that, or somebody could take that same mindset and go, you know what? It's because this, that, and the third, and then you're not
Right.
getting opportunities, and oh man,
Right.
it's hard being a black man. Like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you're right. And either way is right. Honestly,
Yeah.
either way, and either situation is right. Is what you
Right.
want to do and what you want to accomplish through those things. And those, and even in when I'm saying those things, I'm feeling that.
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I'm like, ah, God, I don't
Yeah.
want that second one, man. Like, not if I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah. That's
Now,
right.
Now, again, there's also those people out there that
Uh-huh.
because the old school mindset is
Uh-huh.
you wanted that mindset to be like, they don't want me to succeed. They don't want me to
Right.
do those things. Like my
Right.
grandfather's, mentality, my dad's mentality, right?
Yeah.
It was like, that's why he did so great with Margarito, right? It was because
Right.
everybody in there, it was like, I think the whole place, I remember looking like there was just like Mexican flags everywhere.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everybody was like, when he walked out, boo, 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 you're gonna get knocked
Uh-huh.
out. He's gonna beat your ass, da, da, da.
Yeah.
And sure enough, my dad was like, just watch.
Yes.
Wait until I
Yes.
get finished with this dude.
That's
Wait.
right.
But if he takes that same mindset and go, you know what, they don't want me to win, man. They don't want me to
Right.
win. All these Mexicans don't want me to win.
Right.
How am I
Right.
ever gonna win? Right?
Yeah.
You're never gonna win, bro.
Exactly.
Not with that
Exactly.
one. So
Right.
with that being said, you know what I mean? I went on a tangent, but I think that mindset is important. And he told me that
Yes.
going into the Contender. And if you watch that, you know, I even told those guys, I was like, look, man, I ain't scared of none of you guys. I'm not afraid of one of you guys, but I'm not gonna sit here and argue with all of you. I'm not gonna sit here and stir myself up to try to fight you all, because it doesn't really matter. The only one that matters is whoever I'm getting in the ring with. So
Right.
when we set that up, when we line that up, you'll see. I'll show you.
Exactly. That's right. Randy, you even had a question about the Contender, didn't you?
We talked about it earlier.
No, on that. I remember you wrote it down. You said you're gonna something about the Contender. Because I think we're wondering, like, with the Contender was, I think I talked to somebody before. I don't know if it was K9 Bundrich or somebody, but it says, and I think I talked to Boxing Q, and they were talking about how some of it was scripted. Some, it's real fighting, but some of the script and all that. Like, what did you like and what did you not like about the Contender?
I loved everything about the Contender.
Okay.
Honestly, like, I mean, I guess the only thing that I personally thought was hard for the guys that didn't do as good as me and Brandon Adams was that, obviously, like, because the longer you're on the show, obviously the more you're getting paid, right? Because the more fights you have, the more time you're filming the show, which they're paying you for that and things like that, right?
Okay.
And we got more money in the finale than everybody else, right? So, but let's just say you're one of the first guys to lose, right, in the first round. You got the show money, which was I can't remember exactly what it was, but X amount of dollars, right? And then you got X amount of dollars to win. So like you got X amount of dollars to fight or to show up, right? And then you got X amount of dollars to win. And then when you fought the next time, that went up a little bit, and you fought. You got X amount of dollars to show up, and then X amount of dollars to win, right? So with that being said, like if you go through the whole thing, you're getting a pretty good chunk of change. So with that being said, like the guy that did this first fight there, he got X amount of dollars to begin, like from there, and then he can't fight until the last show airs. or the last
yeah.
episode of the show airs,
Okay.
because like obviously if he fights, then it shows that he lost the show, and then it, you know, like it's kind of like
Okay, I get it.
it kind of like reveals like, oh well, he lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So it kind of spoils the show. So with that being said, they couldn't fight. So but that span of time I think was like 9 months to like a year almost.
Wow,
So,
it took that long of filming?
no, well, just to get through all the stuff, and then we had
to get through. Okay.
So I think we went into filming like March, and then we didn't fight until like November, maybe. Yeah, November.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we did the filming, that took so long, and then they started the show, and then it was like an 8-week or 9, however many weeks process, and we did the finale at the end.
Right.
So with that being said, we had that, but like for me, like it was great. I got that show validated me as a fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it gave me a lot of recognition and confirmation to like, this is a real fighter. You know what I mean? He's not just some kid that's trying to like harp on his dad's name or try to do that. He, like, if you look at the level of talent that was on that show, there was a lot of great talent on that show. Right. I mean, John Jackson, you got, you know, Brandon Adams, you got like everybody was on that show was a lot of talent. And everybody was like, man, they just put you on this show because they trying to use your dad's name. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, all right, bro, if that's what you want to look at me, man. I appreciate you, bro. Like, for looking at me like I'm a punk, for looking at me like I'm not gonna do something in here, because you gonna look up my hats in your ass.
Yep. Shane, so, was there ever times that y'all were there and like when the cameras come on and some guys get really extra and you're looking like, bro, like you weren't even acting like that until they said action. Like you really just getting extra now.
A little bit. I mean, for the most part, you saw a lot of guys kind of elevate themselves because obviously they want to be seen and stuff like that. But like, it wasn't like way out of character, but it, you know, you could see it was amplified a little bit, right? It wasn't like, you know, because the guys that were on there, like obviously they picked guys that they knew were going to be fairly animated in general, right? Because they wanted to elevate and get buzz around the show, right? So that wasn't really a thing. Like these guys were like really, really quiet, and then all of a sudden they just like are like yapping up a storm or like talking crap or stuff like that. Like the guys that were talking were guys that normally talk. They just maybe weren't talking so much when it wasn't happening, and you know, then it got really animated when cameras came on.
Was any of it scripted?
Well, no, like not like, at least not to my knowledge. I didn't see anything that was scripted or anything like that. And to what I saw, it was very authentic and just like very authentic to what it was from where I was. Now, one thing that you know, like there was a very systematic like a sequence program, like how we like how we filmed every day was fairly the same, you know what I mean? Like, so you kind of got the structure of like how this worked, right? Like we did this, we did this every single day, and then again the next day we did this and this every, you know what I mean? It was like very uniform when it came to that. But as far as like what they told us or like what we did like as fighters, it wasn't scripted. Now, like Andre Ward, for instance, or like whoever was like, you know, like those guys in the show, you know, maybe, you know, like that was scripted. But like for us as fighters, no. There was even like, I mean, there was like instances where I felt like they were trying to like egg us on or like do stuff like, for instance, like we had like dinner there or stuff like that, and they would like like, you know, every guy would have like his food and stuff like that. And like, let's say like somebody was getting ready to fight the next day or something like that. He put his food away and like kind of stored it in the refrigerator. And then like one of the producers would like take it and like throw it away. You know what I mean? Like that type of shit.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you'd be like, oh, somebody, one of the fighters did this. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
So did that create animosity behind the scenes? Like where you
well, one situation where that happened, I actually confronted the producer, and I was like, man, why would you do that? Like, because, you know, he's a black dude, and I was like, look, man, like most of us in here are black dudes, right?
Right.
And you trying to get us to fight each other, like in that way. Like, of course,
we
gonna fight anyway, but like you trying to get us to be like mean and ugly to one another. That to me wasn't cool. Like, you a black dude, come on, man. Like we should be handling ourselves with professionalism, with and you should want us to uphold that type of thing. Yes. I understand that you come from a TV background and negativity sells and all this stuff, right? But if you want to paint us like positive athletes and like men that are great men, but just so happen to fight, right, for a living, then that's a different light. Right. Like, and we could do that. There's guys like Andre Ward that are great. He's actually on the show. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's a lot of guys out there. Timothy Bradley is another guy that is, you know, a positive role model and that's really, really professional, and Sean Porter. And there's a lot of guys that handle themselves with respect and uphold good values and morals. And they're not out here just being reckless, and they're still great fighters, and they still are people that we want to see fight and you know, just like put on great fights, right? Like I said, you'd rather, I feel like you should want to put us and show us in full light, and then later on, look, we just so happen to fight, man.
Yep.
And so I came to him, I was like, bro, why would you do that? He was like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, bro, you was the only one that was. I was like, you was the only one that was around here, and I know for I get like I know like I just knew I was like, look, bro, I was dirty of you, bro. Like I don't know that you did it, but like I'm almost positive you did, because I know the guys that were around, and we were all working out and like away from that. So it was, bro, like that was kind of strange, but you know, things like that would happen, but that's not necessarily scripted. That's just more so like him trying to make stuff on to like create controversy and create like momentum, and which I get, but like, you know, like I was just being like protective of the guys that were there, because like there's a lot of good guys on the show, and like I said, like I don't have to be mean to somebody to have to fight you or like beat your ass. Right? Like I'm not one of those guys that like gets mad in fights, right? Because I'm not some guy that's fighting on the street or trying to get into a fight on the street. I fight for money. I'm a prize fighter, right? I don't fight for free, and I won't. I fight either if you're threatening my life or for money, right? Yeah. So that being said, like I don't need to fight anybody. Like that's stupid.
Exactly.
It really is stupid. Like I can handle that another way. Like, look, bro, like, all right, you right.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah, with that being said, like that I was just kind of being protective of that, and but again, I respect it. I mean, I understand.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alejandro. I can tell you itching. Alejandro, go ahead. We'll come back to you, Randy.
I still remember like the first season of The Contender when Alfonso Gomez was on it and all that. So it's great that show got you a lot of fame and everything, and made you validated as a fighter and not just Shane Mosley's son. And it's good. Also, your last fight against Gabe Rosado, you know, Gabe is a tough fighter, and you were able to pull off that win. That was huge. So
right here in San Antonio.
Yeah. At 168, are you still trying to stay at that weight, or it just depends on the option given?
No, so like you know, my goal is to become a middleweight champion. So I want to be a middleweight champion. You know, eventually, you know, that option's always open. But as of right now, you know, the opportunity presented itself. And I took it, right? And
Right.
I was able to get more validation of,
Right.
of he's really a good fighter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
any opportunity I can get to prove that and to put on great fights, I will, And I made a really, really tough, competitive with a lot of fighters, made him look fairly ordinary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Right.
so, no disrespect to him, but that was just kind of the game plan in which I took, especially on the 5 week. I got 5 weeks to prepare for that fight.
Oh, that was it?
Yeah. And
Oh,
so
wow.
of course I was just like, look, I know his advantages. I know that he's great. And when you bring the fight to him, he's going to be very, very competitive and hard to beat and hard to fight.
Right.
So I just knew that I had to take that away and find my moments within that and break him down, which I did.
Right.
So, with that being said, that was just kind of, the game plan for that. Maybe if I had more time for that fight, I probably would have maybe fought the fight a little bit different, or been willing to fight the fight a little bit different. But it was a great performance, and I think honestly that type of performance was better than even stopping him, because there's despite what the scorecards say, a lot of people that were there and a lot of people that have watched the fight said, like, I don't even know if I could give him a round.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even know if I can give him a round. Like, you look probably one of the most dominant performances against him that we've ever seen.
Right.
Like, even like Gennady Golovkin, Munguia, like all these guys, they're being like, he's being actually competitive with these guys.
Right.
And like, he was like, they're like, for you, like, it just like he couldn't do anything with you. Like,
what was different? What was it about fighting Gabriel Rosado out of all your fight? What was different about that made you look so good in that fight?
Well, I mean, a lot is just the maturity.
Okay.
When you fight, you take everything you are as a man into the ring, right? And
Right.
the more and more I mature, the more and more I think I become wiser and understanding in the ring, and like that, and you learn to be able to handle those things a little bit differently. But and just kind of understanding, rhythms and understanding like fighting, really. You know what I mean? Like, so, like, it's like, of course I can fight mid-range with him and be sock and bopping robots, like 100%. And would have made a great fight. But it would be even greater, for me at least, right, if I can hit him and not allow him to hit me as clean or hit me at all. Right? That's where boxing comes into play.
Right.
And you can say, oh, he's running or he's doing this, or like whatever, the thing is. But that type of boxing is beautiful. And so if you can do that, why not? Right?
Yeah.
If you're capable of doing that, I mean, guys that made careers out of it. Of course, there's a time and a place for fighting, right? One of my trainers, brother Nazim Richardson, he
man, rest in peace, Naz. Yeah.
He would always say, swim without getting wet, right? So if you
I like that. I like that.
Getting wet, man. He would say it all the time, right? If you can hit this dude and he can't hit you, that's boxing, right? And of course we know this, right? And in a boxing match, a fight breaks out, and that can happen, but you want to prevent that until it's necessary.
Yes.
Right. You bring that fight out when you want to fight, not when he wants to fight. And so those are the type of things you got to put into place and fight when you want to fight, and that's what I did. And I was able to hurt him multiple times. I was, so it wasn't the fact that I couldn't hurt him or I was afraid of him or anything like that. It was just more so my tactics and trying to take him out of his game. And then, whenever I did implement, some more, punches or pressure, he wasn't ready for it.
Right. You know what? You're right, Shane, because nothing irks me more, man, when a fighter loses and he says on camera, oh, all he did was run all night. Like, nah, he boxed you all night and he won. Now you wanted to brawl, but he, that fighter displays superior boxing skills. You might have called it running. We call it the sweet science of boxing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think that it is important if you have somebody that does that, then you need to be able to have a game plan in order to stop that. It's not for him to make it easy on you.
Right.
You know what I mean, it's not for me to make this fight easy for you. It's actually the opposite. So if I know that gives you difficulties, I need to continue to do that. I would be stupid to allow you to make that stop. Right. I'm giving you the keys to my house. I'm giving you the keys to my car. You know what I mean? It's
right.
Hey, give me your house. Okay, here you go.
Right.
Give me the keys to your house. Okay, here. It's like, nah, bro. Like, if that's the case, if you want that, you don't need to take it from me.
Right.
It's very impressive how they only give you a 5-week notice, and it seemed you were in shape, ready to go, and seems you stay ready in the gym, and that shows a lot from you that you're ready to go when the opportunity's there, when the door, you get the fight, you're ready to go. So that's very impressive, and for you to perform that great, it talks a lot, and it shows your maturity and how dedicated you are to the sport.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah. So I mean, you have to do that. You have to live this boxing life. It's an important part of the game, and I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of fighters fall off and stuff like that is they don't take that aspect seriously or implement learning or studying or even just going to a gym, right? Like just going into a gym every day. I remember I used to think he was crazy. I was like, my dad would be like, yeah, just go to the gym. Like, you gotta work out, just go. Like, what? Why would I do that? And he's like, just trust me, just go. And I didn't realize that he was, Mr. Miyagi in me. Well, because it's true. That's how you gain habits. If you've ever read the Atomic Habits, I don't know if
I haven't.
Well, he talks about that being one of the ways to do it. So how you kind of take away some of the anxiety of implementing a skill or implementing a habit is by just going to do the bare minimum, right? Imagine if I told you, hey, just go to the gym every day for 5 minutes. You're like, yeah, that's weird. Right. All right. You're going to go the first day, 5 minutes, probably leave. Second day, you're like, all right, while I'm here, maybe I'll jump on the treadmill for about 5 minutes and then leave.
Okay. Right.
That third day, you're like, well, if I'm going to be here, let me do like 20 minutes on the treadmill. Fourth day. Right. You know what? Let me think of a program.
Right.
Because you've only trained, you it doesn't look that big, right? They say the just 1 foot in front of the other, right? And the more that you implement those like 1 foot in front of the other type of things, the more willing you're gonna do. The issue is that thing, that voice in your head, or that devil, whatever you want to call it, right? That, man, why we gotta do this? Again. Well, just whatever, whatever thing you have that's preventing you from doing whatever habit that you're trying to do. That's that thing that kind of stops you from building habits or breaking those habits. But if it just is like, let me just walk into that room.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem that bad. You're like, all right, I'll walk over there. I'll walk into the room. It ain't that bad. Boom. And then you find yourself just in there, because if you have those many days of showing up, just showing up.
Yeah.
You're like, if you're competitive, or if you're, if you have any spirit to do this, you're gonna give it some effort. You're like, I'm here. I might as well do the damn thing.
Right. So Shane, is there times where, like, after your fights on a weekend or on a Saturday, and then boom, like Monday, you back in the gym?
Yes. of course, I had to fight with my wife about that. But yeah, no, 100%. You just fought. You went.
Supposed to rest, man.
You back
supposed to rest.
You still got the swelling from the fight, man. Come on. But which I understand. But yeah, I've.
It's in you.
Yeah, man. I grew up around a maniac, essentially. Like my dad, he wouldn't be a legend if he wasn't a maniac, right?
Matter of fact, since you said that, and Randy, I'm gonna let you go next. Now, I was gonna ask you this. So I know your grandfather Jack, like he was one that kind of trained you once you start going into amateurs. But how instrumental was your grandfather Jack Mosley, and people leave this out, your grandmother Clemmy Mosley?
Thank you, brother. Yeah, absolutely. They're huge reasons for me. Yeah, being I wouldn't be a fighter if it weren't for them.
Right.
Honestly. Absolutely. Like my grandfather, was huge in my amateur career. Like he took me to every show. He took me to,
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like everything. My grandmother was also, just my support system and made sure I got everything that I needed. Without them, I wouldn't be, where I was. And even with my dad, right? If it wasn't for them, my dad wouldn't have been the fighter and the man that he is and became. Right. So, that support system is very important. And I applaud them. I thank them.
Yeah, because I'm looking at it, right. I'm looking at, okay, his grandfather Jack is there and he's training him all that. But I'm like, man, people don't understand the sweet nurturing side of a grandmother. That's, come on, you can, that's my grandson. He can do it. And it seems like they always have wisdom or good words to give you right when you need it.
Yeah, my grandmother was great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So awesome,
I miss her every day.
Yeah.
I mean, I even named my daughter after her. So like my daughter's name is Jewel, and Jewel was my grandmother's middle name.
Okay.
So yeah, so like I always have a part of her, and also too, like my daughter's birthday is one day after my grandmother's birthday.
Oh wow, how ironic is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you have a couple kids, right?
Yeah. But
like
my
2
daughter,
kids, right?
3.
3 kids. All
Yeah.
right. So what was that? What was it like having the very first child, and like how did that change you? Because you all through this interview, you talking about, I've matured, but a lot of people tell me, man, when you have that first child, it really makes you grow up fast.
Well, so my 2 boys are my wife's kids from a previous marriage.
Okay.
But they're my kids. You know what I mean? Like,
that's right.
So when I got into the relationship with her, I understood that they were very young at the time, 4 and 1.5. So now they're 9, basically almost 10, and 7.
Okay.
So I've been in their lives for a very long time. I've been in their lives way longer than I have not.
Right.
And they are a big part of my my growth as a man, and the very reason why I fight. And and I look at them as the family that I chose. Right. Which is sometimes deeper than the family that you were born into. Right. The one that you chose, sometimes it's harder to because you have to choose to make this decision. You choose to make them a priority. You choose to fight for them, and so on and so forth. So with that being said, when they came into my life, man, it was a huge change. It actually happened right before the Contender series, actually.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then right after that, I actually was the reason why I moved to Las Vegas, was to be with him, because a lot of my wife's family is in Las Vegas.
Okay.
And her family is my mom my family from her side is out here in Las Vegas as well. So that was the reason why I came out here. You know, I mean, I went to have my family in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas, well, at least at the time, was a lot more inexpensive. It still is less expensive than California, but
Sure is.
obviously it's getting a little bit more expensive, but it's still less expensive than a place like California to raise a family and to be able to support them and stuff like that. So that was the reason why I did that. And then of course throughout the growth of going to school and things like so we homeschool our oldest, so like homeschooling and just all those different things. It's it just has made me have to mature as a man, and so it's big. And then like my son, he wants to box.
Oh wow.
And it's so funny because my dad is like, Shane, I don't know how this happened, but that kid got it. He was like,
what?
He's like your son. He's like, Zayden is he can be a world champion. Like,
wow.
He was like, that's how I was as a kid.
Wow.
He's like, that's me right there.
Yeah.
My son, he's a very, very active kid. I call him a kinesthetic genius because he is. Like, I mean, he watches like dance videos and will like get them just right away.
Wow.
Like, I'm like, when did you do that dance? He's like, just now. Like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
But he gets stuff really, really, really easily, and he loves it. But it's one of those like things that for me, like there's easier paths in life. You know what I mean? Like,
so I was gonna ask you that. Do you ever look at him like, son, you're just so smart? Like, are you sure you want to do boxing? Like, you can pretty much do a lot of stuff in life. Why do you want to choose this path?
Well, I think at least for me, one of the best things that I could tell him is that he shouldn't do it.
Yeah.
And he can't, maybe.
Yeah.
You can't do it, and you shouldn't do it, and you're not gonna be good enough, and all these things. Not that I don't believe it, because that would actually be false, because I actually do believe he can be great. But this boxing world and just boxing business and everything like that is very, very mean and very, very unforgiving and very, very cruel and all of these things. So I might as well be the one to prime him. Or be the one to tell him, hey man, this is going to be hard, and I'm going to make it hard. Because if you can't deal with hard, if you can't deal with difficult, if you can't deal with somebody telling you that you're not going to be good enough and all these things, then you're probably not going to be able to get to this game unscathed. You know what I mean? And you could die. You can be brutally hurt. You can be punch drunk. You can be poor. I mean, you can go insane. I mean, there's all kind of people that like you see like after boxing, and they're not the same anymore. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of easier ways to do it. Do I believe that he can? Do I believe that he can achieve a lot of great things? I do. I really, really do. But like, again, there's kind of that gift, that gift and curse thing, and being his father, I don't want to. I'm just torn, I guess. It's something that I love, and I know that he loves it. I mean, he literally goes to the gym with me all the time. Like, he goes to the gym with me all the time, and everybody, man, like when is he fighting? Yeah, fight soon. I'm like, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. But eventually, I think I would love for my dad to be able to train him if he came out here, or came out here and trained him and stuff like that. I think would be great.
All right. Hey, do you have time for a couple more questions?
Of course.
Okay. Randy, I'll let you go. Then Alejandro. Then I'm gonna wrap it up with my
Okay.
questions.
So I had a question about high school, right? So at the end of high school, were you more focused on continuing your education, or was it boxing?
I wanted to do both.
Okay.
I wanted to
Hey, Shane. Hey, Shane. Hey, can you hear us?
Hey Shane, we can't hear you, man. There's a delay in this mic.
No.
boxing amateur, and
Okay,
so
there we go.
I wanted just to continue to do that and kind of see where it went. Then my dad was kind of like, hey, like if you're gonna do this, we should probably, have you take it a little bit more serious, and you can just focus on like just boxing and stuff like that, and let's go about it that way.
Hey, Shane, can you hear us? Something's picking up. Are y'all picking up something from somewhere?
Yeah. I could hear you guys, but I can't hear Shane.
Yeah, I can't hear either. Hey, Shane, can you hear us?
Kind of.
All right, we can hear you now. It was almost like we're hearing somebody coming in on the background. I don't know what it was, but
yeah, we were picking up on a conversation or some radio interference going on.
yeah, it sounded like some radio interference or some kind of background noise coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we
okay,
can
but you can hear us though, right?
Yeah, I can hear you. It got kind of muffled.
Right.
Yeah,
How about now?
What the reason for that is? Oops.
All right, we can hear you now.
We can hear you.
All right, yeah, I can't really hear you that good, but it's all right.
Okay. All right, what you got, Alejandro?
So, what's next for you, Shane? Who would you want at 160?
I mean, honestly, I want to be a world champion. So, Erzlan De Lara, Triple G, who else is there? Janabek.
Wow. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I mean, like, I want to be a champion. That's how you become a champion, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. All right. Well, Shane, we ain't going to keep you too much longer, man. But we definitely want to thank you for being on, man. And we hope you come back again, man. We definitely want to do another
thank
interview.
you for your time.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed my ranting.
No, we enjoyed it.
It was good, man.
Yeah. Hey, before you leave, what do you want to say to your fans, and how can they follow you on social media?
So I want to say thank you to my fans. I love you guys. I appreciate it. Like all the love and support. You can follow me on Instagram at Shane Mosley Jr. I also have another Instagram, my family page, or my business page, I guess you could say as well. It's like family, my business, whatever. It's at Tribe Called Mosley.
Yeah.
Then I think Twitter is at one Shane Mosley Jr. And then Facebook, and I got a TikTok as well as Shane Mosley Jr. So
Okay.
you can follow me in all those places.
Yeah.
I thank you. Also, too, I'm planning on having a clothing line as well. It's going to be Tribe Called Mosley. So if you guys want to check that out, please stay tuned to that.
Okay.
What's it called again?
I'm actually going to be dropping memorabilia of my dad.
Tribe Called Mosley. Okay.
Yeah, Tribe Called Mosley. And I'm going to be dropping memorabilia for my dad for that.
Okay.
So it's going to be cool. It's going to be only 100 shirts of him signed. So,
Wow.
And these shirts have never been seen before. Like,
wow.
They're one of a kind. There's only going to be these shirts. So they're
nice.
Authentic. And I hope you guys love it.
All right. Man, we're going to be looking forward to it. Shane, stay on after we end this recording, man. We appreciate you coming on, man. It was a pleasure, man. And, man, we definitely got to do this again. For all y'all out there, Please make sure you like, share, subscribe. Follow Shane Mosley Jr., man. Appreciate you being on. Until next time, we signing out. All right. Let me see here. All right, I ended the recording now. It stops. Man, I appreciate it, Shane, man. Man, this was good. I like this.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah. Man, we always just try to make people feel, man, relax. Man, just like you're just shooting it with the homeboys, man. I hate interviews that seem so
Scripted.
Yeah. I just love it when it's just natural like that.